happiest man who ever lived on death row. On August 14th, 1936, Dorothy and Barbara Drain are attacked in their home, bludgeoned by an axe. 15-year-old Dorothy, who was also raped, died from the attack while Barbara survived. A manhunt ensued and police were under tremendous pressure to find the murderer. Found wandering near the local railway was 21-year-old Joe Arity, who confessed to the murders outright. He confessed and fit the profile, which was any Mexican-looking men, a description given by two other women who were also attacked. It wasn't long until police realized something was off with Joe Arity. With an IQ of only 46, he couldn't tell the difference between a rock and an egg. His dark complexion was due to his parents being Syrian immigrants as well as them being first cousins. Joe and his siblings suffered due to the family's inbreeding. At the age of 10, he was committed to the Colorado State Home for Mental Defectives. He was in and out of this home for several years before running away at the age of 21. Joe could not identify colors, spoke very slowly, and was very easily coerced. The superintendent at the school recalls Joe taking the blame for things he did not do. During Joe's arrest, police learned that another man had already been arrested for the murder, Frank Aguilar. He was a laborer from Mexico who had worked with the Drain girl's father before being fired. An axe head was also recovered from his home and he confessed to the murders and was executed in 1937. Survivor Barbara even pointed the finger at Frank, saying he was the sole man who attacked me. But police were convinced that Joe and Frank had to have worked together. Joe claimed several times that he was at that house with a man named Frank, but even Frank himself said he had never seen Joe once in his life. Depending on who interrogated him, Joe's testimony would constantly change, and it should have been apparently clear that he did not commit this murder. But sadly, despite the public outcry and 3 psychiatrists testifying that Joe was mentally handicapped, he was convicted and sentenced to death. While being held on death row, Joe Arity would often play with a toy train that was given to him by prison warden Roy Best. Joe Arity was treated well and with respect by prisoners and staff alike. The warden would often bring him gifts and said he cared for him like a son. With the mental capacity of a 6-year-old, he had no idea he was about to die and was just happy to play with his toy train. When questioned about his execution, Joe had no idea the meaning of gas chamber and just said, no, Joe won't die. He requested ice cream as his final meal, but he did not finish it, and upon being taken to the gas chamber, he asked if it could be refrigerated, not realizing he wouldn't return. Joe Arity smiled as he was taken into the gas chamber, and was momentarily nervous but calmed as the warden held his hand. Falsely accused, wrongfully convicted, and coerced into confessing to a murder he didn't commit. At the age of only 23, Joe Arity was executed. In 2011, more than 7 decades after his execution, Colorado Governor Bill Ritter pardoned Joe.